worked a double shift. I've been asleep for 2 hours.
Open this door right now, or I'm breaking it down.
Can you first tell me what this is about?
We got a call about a disturbance. You need to step outside.
A disturbance? I'm a nurse. I just worked a double shift. I've been asleep for 2 hours.
Ma'am, last warning. Open up or you're getting arrested.
I'm a nurse at Seattle Grace. I just got home from a 16-hour shift. There's no disturbance here. 5, 4. Danielle made a decision. She called 911. The dispatcher answered, 911. What's your emergency? This is Danielle Moore at the Meridian Apartments on East Pine Street, apartment 312. There's a police officer at my door threatening to break it down. He says there was a disturbance call but won't explain what it's about. I was asleep. I'm asking him for his badge number and he's refusing. Can you verify this call and tell me what's happening? The dispatcher sounded confused. Hold on, ma'am. The pounding stopped. The officer must have heard her on the phone through the door. After about 30 seconds, the dispatcher came back on. Ma'am, I'm not showing any disturbance calls to your address tonight. Can you describe the officer? Male, white, looks like he's in his 30s, average build. He's in full Seattle PD uniform. He's in the hallway outside my apartment right now. Ma'am, I'm going to connect you with a supervisor. Stay on the line. Danielle heard the officer's radio through the door. He was talking to someone, but she couldn't make out the words. A new voice came on Danielle's phone. This is Sergeant Williams with Seattle PD. Can you tell me what's going on? Danielle explained everything. The pounding on her door, the threats to break it down, the claim about a disturbance, the refusal to identify himself, the countdown, all of it. Sergeant Williams sounded concerned. Ma'am, I need you to ask the officer for his last name and badge number again. I'm going to stay on the line. Danielle called through the door. Officer, I have Seattle Police Sergeant Williams on the phone right now. He's asking for your identification. Long silence. Then the officer spoke, and his voice was completely different now. Uncertain, almost scared. This is Officer Bradley Mitchell, badge number 7429. Danielle repeated it into her phone for the sergeant. Sergeant Williams said something Danielle didn't expect. Miss Moore, Officer Mitchell is not assigned to your area tonight. He's not supposed to be in Capitol Hill at all. I'm sending units to your location right now. Do not open your door. Not for Officer Mitchell, not for anyone, until you see me personally. I'll be there in 5 minutes. Danielle heard the officer's footsteps moving away from her door quickly. She looked at her phone, the doorbell camera app still open showing the live feed. She watched Officer Bradley Mitchell walk rapidly down the hallway, his face visible the entire time, clearly aware he had made a terrible mistake. Her doorbell camera had captured everything from the moment he approached her door. What just happened? Danielle stayed on the line with Sergeant Williams. She watched through her doorbell camera app. Within 6 minutes, 3 police cars arrived. She saw Sergeant Williams and 4 other officers enter the building through the lobby camera feed. There was a knock on her door. Professional, not aggressive. Miss Moore? This is Sergeant Williams. I'm here with 3 other officers. Can you look through your peephole and verify it's us? Danielle looked. 4 officers, all with name tags visible. Sergeant Williams held up his badge to the peephole. She opened the door. Sergeant Williams was a black man in his 50s, with gray at his temples, and the calm demeanor of someone who had seen everything. He looked at Danielle in her pajamas, clearly just woken up, and his expression was sympathetic. Miss Moore, I apologize for what just happened. Can you tell me everything from the beginning? Danielle walked them through it. The pounding, the threats, the refusal to explain, the countdown, the 911 call. She showed them her phone with the audio recording. She opened her doorbell camera app and showed them the video footage. Crystal clear video of Officer Bradley Mitchell at her door, his face fully visible, his aggressive body language captured from the beginning of the encounter. She showed them the text exchange with her neighbor Ryan. Ryan opened his door and came out. He was a white man in his late 30s, wearing a hoodie and sweatpants. He had his phone in his hand. I got it on my doorbell camera too, Ryan said. Different angle, audio and video. The officer never identified himself properly. He made threats. He was aggressive from the start, and I can tell you for a fact that there was no disturbance. I was home all evening. This hallway was silent until he started pounding on Danielle's door. Sergeant Williams took both their contact information. He looked genuinely troubled. Miss Moore, did Officer Mitchell say why he was here? Did he mention a specific complaint or caller? He said there was a disturbance call, but when I called 911, dispatch said there was no call to this address. Sergeant Williams looked at the other officers with him. One of them, a younger woman, was shaking her head in disbelief. I need to ask you something, and please be honest. Do you know Officer Mitchell? Have you had any prior contact with him? No, I've never seen him before tonight. Any disputes with neighbors? Any complaints filed against you? Anything that might explain why an officer would come to your door? Nothing. I work, I sleep, I'm barely home. I've lived here 7 years without any problems. Sergeant Williams nodded slowly. Miss Moore, I'm going to be direct with you. This is very serious. An officer who's not assigned to this area showed up at your door with no call for service, refused to properly identify himself, and made threats to force entry. That's not police procedure. That's not legal. Something is very wrong here. Do you think the sergeant already knew this was going to be bad? Type yes in the comments. What Sergeant Williams didn't tell Danielle that night was that Officer Bradley Mitchell had been under quiet investigation for 6 months. The department had received 3 anonymous complaints from women who claimed Mitchell had shown up at their homes late at night, always alone, always when they were home alone, always with vague claims about disturbance calls that dispatch had no record of. But the women had been too scared to make formal complaints. They gave statements anonymously and refused to go on record. Without victims willing to testify, Internal Affairs couldn't move forward. They had been watching Mitchell, reviewing his patrol logs, looking for patterns, but they needed evidence. Danielle had just given them evidence, with audio recording, with video from her doorbell camera showing Mitchell's face clearly, with a witness in Ryan, with a 911 call that proved there was no disturbance, with everything documented and time-stamped. Sergeant Williams collected Danielle's phone number and email. He told her someone from Internal Affairs would contact her within 24 hours. He asked her to download the doorbell camera footage and send it along with the audio recording and any other documentation she had. Then he told her something else. Miss Moore, I want you to know that you did everything right tonight. You stayed calm. You asked questions. You documented everything. You called 911. You protected yourself without escalating the situation. A lot of people would have opened that door, and I think you might have been in danger if you had. Danielle felt a chill go down her spine. What do you mean? I can't say more right now, but I'm very glad you kept that door